Hello, hello, hello. We are back with the last of the mounts. So in this video, this is the last two mounts being discussed in the series, like the other two videos. I started with Jupiter, and now we are at Neptune and Venus. So without further ado, here we go. Hi, what you're looking at here is the Mount of Neptune. So just a little background on Neptune before we get into it. It is one of the latter planets to be discovered by NASA. So when we talk about the attributes associated here with Neptune and the mythology behind Neptune, it is my belief that the ancients knew about Neptune. Even the cuneiform tablets referred to Uranus and Neptune, which means, it's my belief that even the Sumerians knew. How they knew is a whole other video, you know what I mean, or a whole other topic that we can go, a rabbit hole we can go down. But today, I just want to talk about the Mount of Neptune and the association it has in your palm and why I believe it is just as important as the rest of them. So some palmists, because there's different ways to look at it, won't even recognize this mount in your hand because, one, it's a little bit difficult. You can see it's in between your Venus mount, which is over by your thumb, and your moon mount, which we previously discussed. So it could be considered both as part of them. I consider it on its own, and more so because of the readings that I have done thus far. And when I attribute the knowledge that I associate with Neptune to the person that I'm reading for, it's been very accurate. So Neptune is where we find our secrets. So a person that has a large Neptune or a well-balanced Neptune, in my opinion, is somebody that is a major truth seeker and a truth seeker in everything. So if we think about who Poseidon is, or Neptune, or he is been worshipped as the god of the underworld, or the god of the sea or god of waters. So when you think about those two areas, we think about the things that are hidden. And when I associate what is hidden, a person that has a large Neptune instinctively wants to find out everything that is hidden. It is a deep desire within you. And when we think about the things that are hidden, say, even to the public, a lot of it is like occult knowledge. So I also have noticed that a lot of people that have a large Neptune might be more inclined to search out the dark arts, even because they, again, have a great desire to bring all that is hidden to the surface. Whether they want to actually bring it to the light or not, they just want to dive in and see what's down there. You know what I'm saying? So a person, it's just as simple, I think, as so a person that doesn't really have an elevated Neptune is a person that isn't really concerned with those things. So a larger Neptune tells me that this person is probably very enlightened. A person that might have, again, like getting into the whether it's squishy or firm, tells me maybe how disciplined they are when it comes to obtaining this type of knowledge. I think even if it was a squishy Neptune, it's almost like they might have recall in the DNA, if you know what I'm saying. So these things just come naturally to them. So yeah, take a look at your Neptune. I think that when we get into the chiromancy and the lines that are on there, that's going to say a whole lot more about whether you're psychic, um, you know, the many clairs that we could possibly have in our spiritual gifts or just divine gifts in general. I think we're going to see a lot here in Neptune. So there you go. Take a look and let me know what you see in your hand. Hi. What you're looking at here is the mount of Venus. So last of the mounts that we're going to discuss, but definitely not the least. Venus is where we find out about your physical vitality, your passion for love, and passion for life. And generosity is found here. So how you like to love and share. Now, let's get into who Venus is. So in ancient mythology, Venus is the goddess of love, also known as Aphrodite to the Greeks. So she's the god of love, charm. She's the giver of pleasure. She's very sensual. And Venus is, she rules the astrological signs of Libra and Taurus. So Libra can be righteous, but she can be very stubborn too. So I want you to notice where Venus is colored in, because a large Venus is going to crowd your Mars mount just above Venus when we talked about Mars. So if your Venus looks like it is also a part of your Mars, then you have a very large Venus. Mine is actually one of my big three, but it's not necessarily crowding my inner Mars. So she is very well balanced in my hand. I will say Venus is crowding my Neptune. So that does say that, you know, a lot of my attributes of Venus are still going to be shrouded around my love for truth. In fact, I do have a Via Lascivia on my, in between my Venus and my Neptune. So that's another video. We will talk about the Via Lascivia eventually. So the Via Lascivia is a form of codependency. So yeah, we will definitely get into chiromancy because it will add layers to these mounts. But for this video, we'll stay on the topic of Venus. So, and a smaller Venus would just mean, you know, that you won't see much elevation there in that green area that is colored in here. So in this actual, we will talk a lot about color here too, because one of the first things that I see when I look at Venus is whether it is pink, sometimes there's blue, yellow. It's very pertinent to the qualities of Venus. So if you have a large Venus or a well-balanced Venus and it's pink, that shows a lot of energy, a lot of stamina. You just have you love life, you know. And interestingly enough, knowing that the mounts change, if you are doing extracurricular activities, you will see Venus literally inflate before your eyes, if you know what I am alluding to. So again, a large, over large, you know, like it's about to burst, like a balloon about to burst, shows a strong drive for physical passion, money, pleasures, beauty, all of the things that are very earthy. If it's if it's large like that and it's spongy, you know, or squishy like we talked about, then you might tend to get tired out a little bit easier. and you might not be as fond of those physical activities. You might, I hate using the word lazy, but you're going to want to be, you're going to get more comfort out of just kind of lounging around, and just being comfortable, without all the exertion. And so the other side of that is if it is flat or it looks almost like it's deflated, then you might lack energy. You know, being like it's just kind of it's still the opposite of it being squishy. Like squishy means that you you might have that energy, you're just not willing to use it up. You know what I mean? So lacking in that would mean you're lacking in the vitality and the warmth. So it's harder for you to actually have the physical stamina. You might even have a cooler temperament, and might seem kind of cold to other people. Sometimes we notice that as we age, Venus will deplete a little bit, and I think that just is a very good sign of aging and losing that vitality. Also, on that note, if you see blue in Venus, then that means fear. So it's a fear of exerting yourself. And we find a lot of things about your family here and how you love. So there's a fear of giving too much of yourself too. It means lack of trust. A nice size mount means you might have a talent for being a homemaker. You're good at taking care of your family. You're also very creative. And you love, love, love. You're very generous, especially if the thumb is extended, like we talked about in our classes. When the thumb is extended and you have a large amount of Venus, sometimes you might get taken advantage of because you allow it. And when we think about Venus, Venus loves to be admired. So you might, with a generous Venus, you're gonna want to be loved. You're gonna give love. You're gonna want love, and you're gonna be more likely to forgive and forget. Now, again, there are other layers that can either add or take away from that when we get into the chiromancy in your hand. But for now, just knowing a nice round Venus makes you not only just somebody that loves and wants to be a part of life, you also are sensual. So it makes you somebody that wants to, be in love with your partner and everything that goes with it. So somebody that, again, that has a smaller Venus is someone that is not going to be as maybe touchy-feely for one, and a little bit colder in nature. So there you go. I hope that you have your big three established. And we will be starting classes coming up on the weekends. So just be looking for that live notification. And we will get into the chiromancy. So I will have highlights of the classes that will be uploaded here if you missed the lives. I don't expect you to catch the lives, especially because they probably will be impromptu. So there, let me know what you see in your hand, and I hope everyone has a blessed day.